Hey guys, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but this is the Xiaomi Z15. This is a small USB charger that only charges rechargeable AA and AAA batteries. It's kind of neat because there's not a ton of these on the market. And not only that, but most of them are on the large side. This thing's actually pretty small. It's actually smaller than your hand. It's a pretty tiny little guy. And it's quite useful because not only is it a charger, but it also works as a power bank. So it is kind of cool. So how this thing works is pretty much just take your plastic case off, which one complaint I do have is this is a little flimsy. I wish it were a little bit stronger. And that is, you know, something if I wanted to bring this like backpacking or something that would just annoy me. But yeah, I really wish it was a little stronger. But otherwise, I really like this thing. So you're going to put your batteries in. And it's got nice positive and negative markings in here, so you know exactly how to put them in. And your AAAs go into the lower slot here. Your AA's into the higher, which is pretty standard for kind of smaller chargers. And the cool thing about this charger too is that it is pretty much a smart charger. It will charge independently with each bay. So if one of these fills up before the other, you don't have to worry about it just pumping full juice into it and overheating it. So you put that back on. And how this works is you have up top here, you have your output and your input, and there's a slider here which lets you choose between them. Now with the input mode, you can plug in your cable. Oop, got that right. And you can charge it through any wall outlet, whatever you want to use, maybe even a little solar charger. Then you have, of course, your output. Slide that over, now bam, you're porting power out. You can use the same little cable that it came with, switch it around, and you can charge anything. You can charge your phone, you can charge whatever you want. And it does have these little LEDs here in the base to let you know that everything's good, and it'll kind of cycle through them. And pretty neat little thing if you ask me, because like I said, there's not a ton of these on the market, and most of them are pretty gigantic. They're big. They're not something you can put in your pocket. Whereas this is something that can fit in your pocket, which is really good. Because if you are the kind of guy who maybe uses flashlights that take AA's and you want a power bank, something that you can charge up your batteries on the go, you know, keep a couple on hand. That way you can charge them at any USB outlet or whatever. This is a pretty neat little option for those guys who use that gear. Maybe you have two-way radios or something like that that uses AA's that you need to keep fresh, you know, for your job or just out there camping. This is a really decent option. And being USB, of course, you can pair it up with a lot of the small portable solar panels out there nowadays. So this thing does, on the bottom here, it gives you the stats. It will put out 1 amp for the output. And as for charging, if you have 2 batteries in, they will charge at 1 amp each. If you have 4, they will charge at half an amp each. So this is a 2 amp charging capability. So bear that in mind. If you want to charge quicker, you're only going to want to put 2 in there. If you want to charge 4, it's going to slow it down by half. So your capability is only 2 amps total. This thing is, I think, pretty neat for the money. And aside from just the case being a little flimsy, but you know what though, when the batteries are in it, it's pretty solid. But the only thing that I don't like is, you know, like I said, I really don't like that cover. I mean, do you need it? No, it's not necessary, but I think this would be a so much better product if it had a stronger and better cover. But it's pretty neat, it's pretty simple, and the Xiaomi stuff has a really good reputation for being good. And there's actually quite a few reviews of this on the forums. And what I read is that this does undercharge the battery slightly, and I actually verified this by kind of charging up several sets of these and then checking them with a voltmeter, and did find that it does undercharge them slightly. But what happens is that it charges it in the normal mode of charging, and then when it's done, it gives it like this top-off charge that takes a little bit longer. So whereas your normal battery might take 4 hours to charge at half an amp, this is going to need those 4 hours and then a little extra time for the top-off. So that is a bit of a problem as well. But then again, you know, if you're leaving this overnight, you know, your charging time is going to be more like 6 hours for a good end loop or something like that anyway. That way you're not leaving it as long. I think that was the idea, maybe. Cut it a little short and then have it top off like that. That way the batteries aren't overcharging there, creating a bunch of heat, but at the same time extending it out so it is more like and closer to the average person's night's sleep, which, yeah, that's about what I sleep, 7 hours a night. So this is a really good charger I can use for overnight, and they should be good and ready for the morning. And they do. If you leave them in there 7 hours, they're nice and topped off. But like I said, in that main charging mode, when the lights come on that they're full, they are going to be a little bit undercharged. So you need to pay attention to that. Not a ton, guys. It's not dramatic. I measured it out with one of my chargers, and you're really only missing like 100 or 200 milliamp hours out of the battery, so you're talking less than 10%. Nothing to get all crazy about, especially in a nice budget charger power bank like this. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll put some links on where you can get this bad boy.